9 people today, so good enough.
Sunday from 11, I have Rudram class that I'm learning, and so I might not be able to join. These past 1 month the classes were not going, so I could attend this Sunday session. If the classes resume, then I will not be able to join. So I'll just listen to the recording.
Yeah.
Or if there is a change in the time, I'll join here for some time and then log off and then go to that class.
Let's see. Yeah. So let us start with the endocrine system.
Okay. The endocrine system is a system of glands, each of which secretes a type of hormone directly into the bloodstream to regulate the body. This system is composed of the pituitary gland, the hypothalamus, the pineal gland, the thyroid, the parathyroid, and the adrenals. The pituitary gland is located at the base of the brain. The pituitary gland secretes 9 hormones that regulate homeostasis.
Okay. Here, I would want to add that there are certain qualities of the hormones that are secreted, which are very well described if you go through German New Medicine. Okay. Now we will see whether we can accommodate the deviation after we finish this chapter on endocrine. It might make sense. It may not be too much of a deviation, but understanding that also will help all of us.
Sure.
Jagdish sir,
have you started earlier?
What I was telling them was, if Jagdish sir is finding it difficult to join, then we have to accommodate. So we are trying to see whether we can work a compromise by 30 minutes.
No, that's okay. Because what happened was I was in another meeting.
Okay.
And I saw the message. I closest ran because next week, if I miss this today, next week I won't be there. I'm not there.
Yeah. No, but what we were thinking is instead of 9 India time, we will move it to 8:30.
Yeah.
And that will give, see, what is happening is by the time we complete, it becomes lunchtime in EST. So instead of 9, can we make it 8:30?
8:30 is okay. I'll manage. Yeah.
Yeah. So we will agree on 8:30 going forward instead of 9.
Fine.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And today we did it 8 o'clock. So half an hour. Yeah.
I had to cut short at the other meeting.
Correct.
But at the end of it.
Yeah.
The hypothalamus is a tiny part of the brain. Despite its small size, the hypothalamus plays a pivotal role in an astounding number of functional and behavioral activities that are essential for day-to-day survival of the individual person and for continuing survival of its species. Its overall role is to collect and integrate a huge variety of information from the body and to organize neural and endocrine responses that maintains homeostasis, that is constant balance of the internal environment. The pineal gland, also called the pineal body, epiphysis cerebri, epiphysis coronarium, or the third eye, is a small endocrine gland in the brain. It produces the serotonin derivative melatonin, a hormone that affects the modulation of wake-sleep patterns and seasonal functions. Its shape resembles a tiny pine cone, hence it is its name, and it is located near the center of the brain between the two hemispheres. The thyroid gland, or simply the thyroid, is one of the largest endocrine glands. The thyroid gland is found in the neck below, inferior to the thyroid cartilage, which forms the laryngeal prominence or Adam's apple. The thyroid gland controls how quickly the body uses energy to make proteins and controls how sensitive the body is to other hormones. It participates in these processes by producing thyroid hormones The principal ones being triiodothyronine T3 and thyroxine T4. These hormones regulate the rate of metabolism and affects the growth and rate of the function of many other systems in the body.
Okay. Here, one takeaway with respect to thyroid, which I learned when my father was being treated, was whatever medicine that you consume, it will be rendered ineffective if thyroid imbalance is there. Right? So thyroid balance is very, very important. Control of thyroid within norms is very, very essential from that perspective. Otherwise, it can stint your growth, it can stint the regenerative process, all the processes and other systems get impacted.
And it says, they say energy
Everything.
generating.
Yeah.
The parathyroid glands are small endocrine glands in the neck that produce parathyroid hormone. Humans usually have 4 parathyroid glands, which are usually located on the rear surface of the thyroid gland or, in rare cases, within the thyroid gland itself or in the chest. Parathyroid glands control the amount of calcium in the blood and within the bones. The adrenal glands, also known as suprarenal glands, sit atop the kidneys, the top of the kidneys, suprarenal, that's why, okay. They are chiefly responsible. Yeah, suprarenal glands sit on the top of the kidneys. They are chiefly responsible for releasing hormones in response to stress through the synthesis of corticosteroids such as cortisol and catecholamines and such as epinephrine. The adrenal glands affect kidney function through the secretion of aldosterone, a hormone involved in regulating the osmolarity of the blood plasma. So they're chiefly responsible for the releasing of the hormones, the stress hormones, through the synthesis of corticosteroids. Okay.
Yeah.
The main thing the system is doing is keeping the body in balance. It does this with the secretion of the various hormones from the various glands. Rather than looking at this system as a whole, the thing to look at here is the part of the body in which the gland is located. This will give you the guidance to the message. The glands of the neck and throat, the throat will indicate, the glands of the neck and throat will indicate a need to speak one's truth to get into balance in one's life. Okay. So basically, any problem in the glands near neck and throat area need to speak the one's truth to get into balance. There is something you are not saying that needs to be said. You must speak your truth. We have had numerous examples of people with thyroid problems, especially hypothyroid, meaning low thyroid. It was found in all of the cases that the person needed to speak up or out about something. Okay, he needs to speak out. They had been staying quiet for far too long. So even they could not express whatever
So that
they
means
wanted.
they are not, their communication needs to improve.
Yes. The adrenal glands are positioned on top of the kidneys. So you are looking at the abdominal region as well as the function of the kidneys to find your message. The kidneys release toxins, toxins from the system. So there are probably toxic thoughts, words, actions, etc. that you are holding in your gut that need to be released to get back into the maintain the balance in your life. Please refer to the section of the kidneys for more insight into this body region. So holding the thoughts of toxic thoughts, words, and actions causes this kidney problem.
Correct.
The other glands are situated in the brain, either in the middle or at the base. As I write this, I am being told to look at those terms literally. In other words, look at what is the head or at the base of the tissue, at the base of the issue. That is where changes need to happen to gain balance. Oh, that
It's a very,
means
very important statement. I think I better put it in a different color.
so so that means, in other words, looking at what is head or at the base of the
No.
issue. That means
You take an issue,
top or
what is in the forefront of the issue and what is behind the issue, consider both. That is where the
So-
transformation or changes need to occur.
Mm.
It's an interesting statement, yeah.
The brain also proceeds a multitude of
Processes.
Right. The brain also processes a multitude of information, stimuli, thoughts, nervous impulses, etc. Overloads in information or stimuli can create a need to rest and calm the brain. The message may be to slow down and get into a quiet place by yourself so you have the space to process what is going on in your environment. In the chapter of chakras, so the brain also proceeds, yeah, that means, if you get headaches, that means you need to slow down. In the chapter of chakras, the third eye or brow chakra is pertaining to this area and is indicative of issue with the psychic abilities. This will be explained further in the section on the brain in the nervous system. In my own situation, I was having issues with what seemed to be several parts of this system. When I asked them and my body, I will teach this later in the book, the answer was always, you are out of balance. The body reflects your life. So if things are off in your body, you need to look around. You need to look around you for the answers. In my case, it was and is that I spend much more time working than playing or having any personal time. It is very out of balance. As you might imagine, the life I am living currently is very demanding, and time for anything personal must be planned and carved out. That is not always easy to do, and work usually prevails. I can tell you firsthand that the body and the person is not made for work alone, but it is very easy to get in a rut of work in which it is easier to do work than find time or the space to just be. I usually feel guilty if I am not doing something. I realize this is what the body is trying to tell me, and I am conscious of my decisions as I work on recreating the balance of my life. That is workaholic people.
No, not only workaholic. See, the type of activity you are involved also plays around with your emotion or the compassion that you have. She is a nurse. She is a professional nurse. So work prevails. In her case, work prevails. So that way what she is trying to tell us is become a teacher. It is most convenient.
No, not only that, balancing. See,
correct. No, the balancing is possible.
See,
because
people
your preparation to teach can happen even when you are at home.
Yeah.
So
But
if we know how to manage our professions properly, probably every profession can be adjusted accordingly.
Yes, I mean, everyone, see, main thing is we should have balance. That's what he's,
Correct.
While in London recently for the December 21st, 2012 event, with the event we sponsored, I passed an herbal and acupuncture shop while taking a walk in the area of the hotel. I felt very drawn to go in. I had never had acupuncture before, but had been curious about it and wondered if there was anything there for me. I understood it had something to do with balancing energies, so thought this might be helpful. The owner and practitioner of this site was beautifully pleasant woman from Beijing, China. We sat down across from each other for a consultation, and she took me by the wrist and she kept her fingers on my pulses. I felt an immediate calm come over me. It was such a nice, peaceful feeling. She proceeded to tell me exactly what was going on with my body. She knew exactly where my neck was tight from the very recent long flight, as well as some other things she could not have known by what I had already told her. She told me later that she was not sure how she did it. That maybe her chi or energy entered my body and enabled her to see what was going on. I am not sure what she did either, but I do know I felt very peaceful once she took my wrist. She proceeded to do a session of acupuncture. As she said, some of my organs were very tired. She said the balance of energy to these organs was off and the acupuncture would help realign it. I really liked her approach in that she believed the body was fully capable of taking care of itself if you will give it the space and support needed. She is not an advocate of all of these regimes to do for the body what it is capable of doing for itself. As we have said, the body is a miraculous machine designed to heal itself if we don't interfere. The treatment was to give the organs the balance of energy and rest needed so they could heal themselves to be able to function in their optimal conditions. I found the following information on the internet regarding acupuncture in case you know as little as I do about it. As with any type of service, you need to do your homework and see who and what services resonate with you, as there are many people out there not representing their craft in the highest light. This felt right to me at the time, and I was definitely guided to use this woman's service. This is how you will sometimes receive your healing guidance. You will be led to a service that can help you do what is needed by the body to shift your energies to heal yourself. So you will be led to the service that can help you to do what is needed by the body to shift your energies to heal yourself. Acupuncture is a method of encouraging the body to promote natural healing and to improve functioning. This is done by inserting needles and applying heat or electrical stimulation at very precise acupuncture points. How does acupuncture work? The classical Chinese explanation is that channels of energy run in regular patterns through the body and over its surface. These energy channels, called meridians, are like rivers flowing through the body to irrigate and nourish the tissue. An obstruction in the movement of these energy rivers is like a dam that backs up in others. The meridians can be influenced by needling the acupuncture points. The acupuncture needles unblock the obstruction at the dams and re-establish the regular flow through the meridians. Acupuncture treatments can therefore help the body's internal organs to correct imbalance in their digestion, absorption, and energy production activities, and in the circulation of their energy through the meridians. The modern scientific explanation is that needling the acupuncture point stimulates the nervous system to release chemicals in the muscles, spinal cord, and brain. So basically they stimulate the nervous system to release the chemicals in the muscles, spinal cord, and the brain. These chemicals will either change the experience of the pain, or they will trigger the release of other chemicals and hormones, which influences the body's own internal regulating system. The improved energy and biochemical balance produced by acupuncture results in stimulating the body's natural healing abilities and in promoting physical and emotional well-being.
So this is what we need to know about the endocrine, what they do. Additionally, I think maybe in the next session, we will add that the quality of the secretions, how they impact.
So the energy releasing,
Correct.
listen. So
It's
chapter
also
10,
another, yeah.
the immune system. An immune system is a system of biological structures and processes that protects against diseases. In order to function properly, an immune system must detect a wide variety of agents from viruses to parasitic worms and distinguish them from the organ's own healthy tissue. So basically, yeah, not and distinguish them from the organ's own healthy tissue.
Okay.
Leukocytes.
Now, we know Bhatia ma'am was talking about autoimmune, right?
It is autoimmune.
Understanding this and applying it to overcoming the, what do you call, the opposite of the immune system is the autoimmune disease.
Because the body
It
thinks its
opposes,
own
yes,
self
yes.
foreign. Yeah.
Okay, one is
That's-
self-hatred, definitely. Yeah.
Leukocytes. White blood cells or leukocytes are cells of the immune system involved in defending the body against both infectious disease and foreign materials. They live for about 3 or 4 days in the average human body and are found throughout the body, including the blood and lymphatic system. Tonsils. The tonsils are lymphoepithelial tissues located in the back of the throat. These tissues represent the defense mechanism of first line against integrated or inhaled foreign pathogens. Against ingested or inhaled foreign pathogens. That's why that means like all this pollen and airborne, yeah. So that tonsils, they defense mechanism. Oh, okay. Tonsils. Adenoids. Adenoids are mass of lymphoid tissue situated posterior to the nasal cavity in the roof of the nasopharynx, where the nose blends into the throat. Thymus.
Yeah.
The thymus is a specialized organ of the immune system. Oh, that is basically in between the lungs, the thymus gland.
Yes.
The thymus is a specialized organ of the immune system. The thymus produces and educates the T lymphocytes, T cells, which are critical cells of the adaptive immune system. The thymus is composed of 2 identical lobes and is located anatomically in the anterior superior mediastinum in front of the heart and behind the sternum. Oh, in front of the heart and behind the sternum.
Okay. Then let us spleen.
Spleen. The spleen is located in the left upper quadrant of the abdomen and plays important role in regard to red blood cells. It removes old red blood cells and holds a reserve of blood in case of hemorrhagic shock, while also recycling iron. It can be considered analogous to a large lymph node, as its absence leads to a predisposition towards certain infections. So it plays an important role in red blood cells. The immune system has one purpose, and that is to protect the body from attacks of foreign elements. So quite simply, where the system is activated, it would be easy to say, well, I came in contact with someone who had a germ and I caught a cold. Remember, any and all aches, pain, symptoms is the body trying to deliver a message. It is not usually to say, stay away from people with germs. It is saying you are feeling like you are under attack in some way.
Yeah.
Okay, this
Yes.
This is not usually a full-on attack, but it could be. You are feeling powerless about something. You feel you can't defend yourself against something. Something is approaching you head on, and you don't want to deal with it. You see it as an attack. Otherwise, you would take it in stride and move through or around it. You might simply be needing to take a rest. Outside demands are attacking, and will not give yourself a permission to take such leisure. So the body is taking care of that for you by giving you a cold, etc., and forcing you to rest. To understand and have guidance as to the messages behind delivered, it is important to look at the area the specific gland is in and how it is manifesting the symptoms.
Let's continue.
When the tonsils or adenoids are being affected, the throat area, you need to say something, speak your truth in regards to the attack you are under. Another way of seeing this is, in order to be attacked, you must be a victim. So you need to look at your state of mind at the time to see if you are feeling you are a victim of a circumstance or situation. Remember, we create our situations to learn from and are never the victims of never the victim of someone else's antics. If we are feeling vulnerable and a victim, then for some reason we have given our power away and are open for attack. So we should not be a victim.
Correct.
The thymus is in the chest or heart region, so might indicate feeling powerless when it comes to feeling emotions for self or others. So powerless when it comes to feeling emotions for self or others. Okay. The heart is in the seat of the emotions and is indicative of your feeling of love. This is regarding your ability to love and be loved, as well as your ability to have love and enjoy in your life, joy in your life. Maybe you have felt attacked in the past where your emotions are concerned and fear opening that part of yourself. Or you are feeling attacked now with regards to your feelings of love and our joy and are engaging your protection mechanisms. Thus, see there, the spleen is in the upper abdomen. So again, look at what is being held in and may be seen as a defending an attack. The abdominal area is where we tend to hold our emotions in and not release or express them. This can fester and cause anything in this area of the body to react. So holding the
That is
emotions.
our entire immune system. How it influences which organ plays what role.
What is the integumentary system?
Integumentary system.
Okay, chapter 11, integumentary system.
Want to say something?
So integumentary system is the organ system
I
that
think
protects the
Ramakrishna
body.
sir has something to say.
Yeah. Sir, what I wanted to say is, see, when we are talking about thyroid, all this in the communications, the underlying communication failure, or the reason is either a fear of a person or a fear of a situation. Okay. Like that is like in office, I don't speak because I'm afraid of losing the job. Probably a daughter-in-law is not speaking because she is afraid of her mother-in-law. Like that, there is an underlying fear, which as a spiritual counselor, we should understand that and address that.
Yeah, yes, I agree.
Yeah.
See, one is
The
the other side of the fear could be the habit of the person itself. He has been nurtured in an environment which is so tightly controlled that he is not able to express. It could be any of those.
Yeah, yeah,
Predominantly, I agree. It is generally fear
yes.
of one kind or the other. I agree. Yes.
The integumentary system is the organ system that protects the body from damage, comprising the skin and its appendages, including hair and nails. The integumentary system has a variety of functions. It may serve to waterproof, cushion, and protect the deeper tissues, excrete waste, and regulate temperature, and is the attachment site for sensory receptors to detect pain, sensation, pressure, and temperature. In most terrestrial vertebrates with significant exposure to sunlight, the integumentary system also provides for vitamin D synthesis. Mainly the skin, hair, nails. Skin. The human skin is the outer covering of the body. In humans, it is the largest organ of the integumentary system. The skin has multiple layers of ectodermal tissue and guards the underlying muscles, bones, ligaments, and internal organs. Though nearly all human skin is covered with hair follicles, it appears hairless. Because it interferes with the environment, skin plays a key role in protecting the body against pathogens and excessive water loss. Its other functions are insulation, temperature regulation, sensation, synthesis of vitamin D, and the protection of vitamin B folates. Besides the skin, hair and nails being protection for the organs and system of the body, they are also how you present yourself to the world. Depending on where a problem is, will again tell what the issue is. I met someone who had a discoloration of her face and neck during a regression session that took her to her birth in this life. She found she was not wanted by her mother because she was a girl and her mother wanted a boy. She felt defaced and so created this mask for herself. My God. Gashes or other types of openings of the skin can indicate a feeling of being vulnerable or lacking enough protection to outside influences. Looking at how the condition manifests
Look at how.
exactly. Oh, look at how, sorry. Look at how the conditions manifest exactly as that is your message. So, I have also found that some rashes of the skin, especially the legs, are an indication of too much energy surging through the body, indicating an overload. Oh, so the rashes on the legs, especially the legs. Many past life regressions have shown eczema, a burning red rash of the skin, to be the residue from being burned to death in another life. It may have carried over as a reminder or to caution you of the activities that led to the incidents of the burning. In other words, there may be, so eczema is, oh my God, the previous life burning. Similarities between the two lives, and this is serving as a warning. So the eczema, okay. So it shows the similarities between the two lives. And also it's a warning. Another thing is that it's common on the skin is a birthmark. Birthmarks have been found to be residues and indicators of trauma or how you died in another life. They don't usually have any kind of health impact, but can be removed if you find the message it is giving and make the connection. Oh, you can remove the birthmark by, they don't usually have any kind of health impact, but they can be removed if you find the message it is giving and make the connection. Hair. It is our glory in many cases and how we distinguish ourselves from others. How we wear our hair is a great indication of how we feel about ourselves. As I think about losing one's hair, I am hearing losing one's honor. Oh, losing one's hair is losing one's honor. In one session, By Dolores, the subconscious cited that the hair loss was due to a vitamin B12 deficiency. Nails as well are an indication of how we put ourselves forward to those around us. They are the parts we show. As indicated, nails on our fingers are also tools for us to use. Problems with these tools may indicate feelings of inadequacy or inability to handle a situation. So, inability to handle
This
a
may
situation.
put you to guilt and shame, probably.
Feeling of inadequacy, yeah, guilt, yeah, inadequacy, inability.
Going
Yeah,
back to the birthmarks, I mean, it's an interesting thing, like to know that, they tell us like how we, died in the past lives. But what type of message they can give us?
We don't know. We'll have
Unless,
to. Yeah.
but it's an interesting point that she, put it.
See, generally, these are very tiny dots. I don't know how.
No, some people have
No,
big ones, ma'am.
large. Yes.
What
Some
is
people
that?
have very large birthmarks, yes.
Yeah.
No, that is where they may have to get them removed or.
Is it-
Okay, yeah, correct. Chapter 12, the lymphatic system. The lymphatic system is a part of the circulatory system comprising a network of conduits called lymphatic vessels that carry a clear fluid called lymph towards the heart. After the circulatory system has processed and filtered all of the blood during a day, there is roughly 3 liters of fluid that does not get reabsorbed directly back into the system. The lymphatic system is then used to get this excess fluid back into the blood. The fluid is transported through lymph vessels to lymph nodes before emptying ultimately into the right or left subclavian vein, where it mixes back with the blood. Lymphatic organs play an important part in the immune system, having a considerable overlap with the lymphoid system. Lymph nodes are found all through the body and acts as filters or traps for foreign particles. They are important in the proper functioning of the immune system. They are packed tightly with the white blood cells. The lymphatic system is a major transportation device designed to keep the cells in a healthy and balanced environment by moving excess fluid back into the blood so it can be circulated to where it is needed, and by moving any bacteria to the lymph nodes where they are then destroyed. It is like defensive mechanism.
Correct.
When this system is off, you will have swelling of the extremities, especially the feet and legs, since the excess fluid is not being moved back to the blood. Since the lymphatic system is part of the circulatory system, the messages will be very similar as to what is found with that system. The blood and circulatory system indicate the flow of life when moving in your desired direction. The backup of fluid in this system can indicate stagnation in movement or sluggish movement in the desired direction. There is either a blockage or a resistance to the flow or movement, you had planned in this life. You are off track or stuck. There is a lack of commitment. There is a lack of commitment to the direction or flow, and so it feels like a resistance. So there is a lack of commitment to the direction or flow, and so it feels like a resistance. If you stop altogether, you will most likely develop aches and pains of these areas.
So that means aches and pains are a kind of resistance. Yeah.
Depending upon where you get the pain, so you need to figure out, where you are stuck.
Got it.
The purpose of the lymph nodes is to destroy bacteria that are brought to them via the system. Problems here would be similar to problems in the immune system. You are feeling powerless about something or in some area of your life. You have given your power away and are feeling vulnerable and under attack like a victim. If these nodes are having problems, you need to look at their location for the specific message. The legs indicate movement in your direction in life. The arms indicate what or how you embrace things or even how you embrace your life. The throat indicates not speaking out or not speaking your truth. There is something you need to say that you are not saying.
This is
So
very
let's go down.
important, right? No, this part is very
Yes.
important for anybody who wants to heal himself.
Yes. The direction of the life, if you're not moving in that direction,
No, if
and
you
also,
legs, if the
yeah,
problem is with your legs, it means you are not moving in the direction that you have chosen for your life. The arms
yes,
indicate what or how you embrace things, or even how you embrace your life.
yes,
So these can be treated as the early warnings. This is all the periphery before the core, right?
yes,
The throat
yes,
indicates not speaking out or not speaking your truth. There is something that you need to say that you are not saying. Wow. The stomach abdominal region indicates holding issues in the gut,
and not passing
not
them
passing
on.
them on or processing them. My God.
So
What
that
a
means you're
wisdom.
holding.
Yeah,
You're holding in. Yeah, you're holding without passing them.
yeah,
So
See,
ultimately,
even
most of these things seem to be because we're holding things up
exactly.
to us.
yes,
So we have become quite so self-centered. We hold things.
Correct.
And it is why when you say, see, the Johari's window, you have the arena, right? In the
Yeah.
Johari's window, you have what is called as others know about you, you know about you. That's the arena we expand,
Mhm.
which is where we're open to others. And so that is where I think this holding becomes less, and that's why become healthier. That's why always community, arena, etc. is encouraged.
see, holding money, holding knowledge, holding in any service,
Anything.
if you, anything, it affects.
Now the
Yes.
musculoskeletal skeletal system.
Yeah. The musculoskeletal system. A musculoskeletal system, also known as locomotor system. It is an organ system that gives animals, including humans, the ability to move using the muscular and skeletal systems. The musculoskeletal system provides form, support, stability, and movement to the body. It is made up of the body's bones, the skeleton, muscles, cartilage, tendons, ligaments, joints, and other connective tissue that supports and binds tissue and organs together. The musculoskeletal system primarily functions include supporting the body, allowing motion, and protecting vital organs. So maybe here she will mention about the knee pain and all.
Well,
You
let's
know,
see. Let's see what it says. Role of
the role of the
yeah.
This system of linked bones and cartilage supports the body, providing a framework about which the softer tissues are built. The skeleton also protects the internal organs. For example, the rib cage
The rib
protects
cage.
the heart and lungs, whilst the skull protects the delicate brain. The skeleton is also important in permitting movement in different parts of the body. The bones provide anchoring points for muscles against which they are able to pull. This is a system that is best looked at by individual sections. The muscles and skeleton in general provide support and protection for the organs as well as movements for the body. Usually things happening within this system will be happening to individual parts such as an arm or a leg rather than the entire musculoskeletal system. For this reason, I ask you to look deeper at the situation to see what the underlying message is, because it is separate for each organ, part of the skeleton. Since the muscles allow movement, the type of problem is indicative of the type of non-movement or impairment in movement. Muscle weakness or atrophy can indicate a loss of desire in that specific direction of movement. So muscle weakness is the non-movement or impaired movement. You need to move more.
Correct.
Hip, legs, ankle, feet. Legs, feet. These move you from place to place. Any issues with these indicate not moving in your desired direction, resisting movement in a different direction. It is probably something you have wanted to do for a while, but are afraid because it will mean much change and will require a stepping out of the comfort zone or a change in lifestyle. The left side indicates something from the past is holding you back. The right side is something from the present now, stepping out, stepping forward, taking the first step. Hip, knees, and ankles. These are joints that help the legs and feet move. Joints are flexible and indicate the flexibility you have in moving in a new direction. Issues with these joints will indicate a further message of not moving in the right direction for you and will give a glimpse as to the reason. The larger the joint that is affected, the greater the inflexibility. Okay, the larger the joint that is affected, the greater the inflexibility. I have been having an issue with my right heel that could get diagnosed as heel spurs, but I have just received the message to see it as a digging in your heels, as in being very stubborn. It is now going away as I am diligently writing this. As I said before, I have worked through a great amount of resistance to get to this point. I tend to create resistance in moving in the guided direction. I am improving and will continue to do so as I step into my newfound role.
So what has
And so
happened? She has been holding back. She has been doing all that before she started writing this.
And she didn't want to come out of that comfort zone.
Correct.
When she was, Shoulders, arms, and hands. Remember, the SE is very literal. Arms and hands hold on to things and people. They embrace that which you love. The shoulders indicate how wide you can open your arms to receive and are embraced. Arms are able to hug. Hands can act as tools. Arthritis of the hands create what look like claws or tightly closed fists. They many times many times look as though they are holding or clutching onto something. This indicates not wanting to let go of something or someone. Another message from closed hands in this manner is that of not being open to receive, since we usually accept things that are handed to us with open hands. So that means arthritis of hands are, they have issues with this.
Is basically give and take. You are not doing a give and take. You are not exchanging. You are receiving more than you are giving, or you are giving more than you are receiving. That imbalance is going to be on the shoulders and hands.
Shoulder, arms and hands. Yeah. Shoulder pain. Since the shoulders are the joints to move the arms, pain in this region has been shown through sessions to be that there is an imbalance in your giving and receiving. That's right.
Exactly.
And imbalance in your giving and receiving. Since the arms are about receiving, accepting, and embracing, when you give more than you receive, or vice versa, an imbalance is created and thus the need for a message. Dolores has had many sessions in which the client was going to have hip or knee surgery because the joints were completely worn away. In most of the cases, the message was that the person was not moving and going forward in the direction they had set out for themselves. There were things they wanted to do with their lives and they were not doing them. When I look intuitively at what is happening in these situations, I see an effort being made to move or walk in a certain direction, but the resistance, reluctance, stubbornness creates a friction or drag on the area or joint. This makes it more difficult to move, which causes pain or discomfort. In another session, the following occurred. We moved on to her physical problems, and I had thought that her knee was related to the other life, but it wasn't. The symptom usually means the person is not going in the right direction, that they are holding back. But the SC said that it was different in Angela's case. Sometimes you have to slow down. She is impatient. It is stubbornness about almost everything. They wanted her to learn how to heal it herself instead of having surgery. I kept trying to get them to heal the knees and they kept refusing. As soon as the message is delivered, received, and appropriate action is taken, the pain, discomfort, ailment will subside. So, okay, basically one thing is stubbornness. Okay, that is okay. But how do they know in which direction how they're going wrong?
No, if the pain is reducing, that means you are going in the right direction.
But first thing is they need to figure out what direction, that
Exactly.
is.
See, that is what these hypnotic sessions or the counseling sessions is supposed to help them with.
Yeah.
Okay.
Correct.
Now, interestingly, if we understand this properly, then we can, looking at ourselves, we can gauge where we need to apply the correction on ourselves.
Correct. Yes.
The psychological system is very needed to interpret this.
Not
Situation.
psychological. Not
Because
psychological.
how they are really thinking, because psychology means it's the same thing, right, sir? Because especially like in my clients' cases, most of them are like with mental health issues or behavioral health issues. They're all part of like how they are thinking, and not just in this life, from past lives also.
No,
So
but then
when
I'm
they go to
talking about,
psychologists, go on,
right,
sir.
Ratna ma'am, what you're saying is when you're counseling to someone, what I'm talking about is you are gauging yourself. Okay. Now, the people that you are addressing, your clientele may not have that ability.
They do not have the ability, but their caregivers have the ability to understand what is their issues.
I mean, I agree, I may not agree. It depends upon
To some extent. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, here is a session regarding multiple sclerosis. My client's father had developed MS at a young age. I wondered why that happened. He was a very bright man and very ambitious and came from a very difficult family. And he knew what he had to do, but he was afraid to do it. Mostly afraid because he didn't understand that he was to proceed and the road would come up to meet him. Mostly afraid because he didn't understand that he was to proceed and the road would come up to meet him. And so he went the way he did in the army, and he did very well for himself. And although he accomplished a lot of terrific things, he was stagnant. He didn't fulfill what he was supposed to do. He developed the multiple sclerosis because he wasn't spiritually moving as fast as he should. And it caused the scaling to grow on a spiritual level, not on a physical level. So he evolved quite a bit and he got to a point of no return as well. But that allowed his mental and spiritual aspects to really think over and touch the depths that he did to understand that things happened. But that allowed him his mental and spiritual aspects to really think over and touch the depths that he did to understand that things happened. And he made his choices and he owns up to that, but he is already back in this life again, working through it. He is doing just fine. Oh my God, how he has come out of
No,
it.
that means he has realized where he was not accepting things and where he was not progressing. The moment he started progressing, it started changing.
Because he was stagnant for a while, and that
Yeah.
caused the problem. Neck. The messages from issues with the neck are again very literal. When you think about what the neck does, it holds the head in place. It turns the head from side to side. When you move the head to a different position, you change what the eyes are able to see. In this respect, the flexibility of the neck indicates the flexibility of your perspective. The restriction in the moment will be an excellent guide as to where you are being rigid in your viewpoint. So your viewpoint or perception should change. It
Correct.
should be changed.
Your POV has got a lot to do with your neck-related problems. Your point of
What is that?
view.
Point of
POV.
point.
Yeah.
Point of perception. Yes.
Correct.
Rigid or stiff neck. Yeah, lot of people with stress also they feel a tight neck.
Correct.
Yeah, rigid or stiff neck. You're not wanting to see from different perspective, not being flexible in your viewpoint. See, that is not being flexible. That is because neck movement are flexible.
This
Back
I
or
found,
spine.
Tanay, this stiff neck issue I have found in many people
Yes.
within a family, particularly ladies.
My husband used to have when I got married, he was doing so many things he was into tennis and also once he get in, he wanted to get, win the prize. That mentality is like he was playing tennis, he was playing table tennis, and all this, and with all this and also Telugu Association work, so many things. He used to have so much, pressure on his neck.
Yeah.
He used to do like this all the time. Back or spine.
Spondylitis can come under this as well, I think, right?
Pardon?
Spondylitis is also like the stiff
Yeah.
movement.
No.
Yeah.
Spondylitis is back problems.
No, spondylitis will come down as you are going into the spine and all that.
Oh, it's a spine related, okay.
Spine problem.
Spondylitis is more to do with nerves related problem. It is
Oh,
neurology, not the orthopedic.
got it.
Yeah. But then
I
it
thought
can
back.
be related. It can be related. One can impact the others. Yeah.
Okay, back or spine, back problems. The back is the support system. So problems in this area indicate you feel you don't have support or are not supported in your endeavors. This is support from a loved one or even the universe. It can also mean you are carrying a great load. The low back indicates that the lack of support is at the base or root of the issue. The low back indicates that lack of support is at the base or root of the issue. Most of the women go through this, especially after deliveries low back pain. Because the low back holds you up, it can also indicate the same lack of support. The mid-back associates with the solar plexus chakra, which represents your power zone. So issues here are indicative of a need to step into your power.
Hmm.
The mid-back. So you need to get back your power. The upper back or neck and shoulder. The upper back, neck and shoulder tension represents carrying other people's problems or burdens. You feel as though you have the entire world on your shoulders. Not able to stand up for oneself, not wanting or able to take a stand. See, scoliosis. The scoliosis is, this is the like going, the bending the whole spine. Being
No. Okay.
No, you are not steady. You are not with this, what you call
You
a
don't have a
steady approach.
very indecisive, for example. Very indecisive.
Indecisive.
Yes.
Scoliosis, being wishy-washy in your wishy-washy in your beliefs or
Wishy-washy.
viewpoint and standing up. Not standing up for yourself, correct. Not standing up. That's why they're not straight. In a demonstration session in one of the QHHT classes, it was learned that the reason this person had scoliosis was because she could not or would not stand up to her mother. Hump or rounded back. Bowing down to pressure of others. Bowing down to pressure of others. Again, not standing tall or standing up for oneself. Wow. Degeneration of the spine. Eroding away of one's will to stand for something or anything or self. Thinking of oneself as a degenerate. So not having a confidence, isn't it?
Yeah.
Confidence. Dolores had a very interesting session with someone who had the bones of her neck degenerating to such a degree she was in constant pain, and the doctor was scheduling her for surgery to fuse all the bones in her neck. The client was taken to another life in which she was married to a very dominating and cruel man. She truly loved another man, and her husband found out about them. While he was hanging her, he was yelling at her that she was a degenerate. It was found that this man was her ex-husband in this life. She was now in a relationship with a man who was her lover in the other life. Because she was living with him and not married, she had these same feelings of being a degenerate. The hanging, while being called a degenerate, created the situation of the bones of the neck. Let's go down one more page. The hanging, while being called a degenerate, created the situation of the bones of the neck eroding or degenerating as termed by the doctor. Situations such as these in which the symptoms are being carried over from another life. They can be easily remedied when the cause is found and the body symptoms can be left in the past with the other life. It was also very important for her to not to take on the attitudes of those around her from the other life.
Brilliant, right?
Yeah, amazing. Oh God. So basically, some of these we carry from the past life.
Some you
How the dots are connected, na sir?
Pardon?
How the dots are connected, na? After
Yes.
reading these whole things, we
Correct.
just need to connect the dots and we'll come to know the reason why we are suffering actually.
Correct.
So the nervous system. The nervous system is an organ system containing a network of specialized cells called neurons that coordinate the actions of an animal and transmits the signals between different parts of the body. So basically, the main thing is they transmit the signals. The nervous system is comprised of the brain, spinal cord, and nerves. It actually contains more intricate parts such as neurons, but for these examples, it is only necessary to understand the overall performance of the system and its major parts. So central nervous system is the red one, and the blue one is peripheral nervous system.
Correct.
Brain. Yeah. So brain, spinal cord are the central.
The human brain.
Brain. Brain is the center of the human nervous system. The brain monitors and regulates the body's actions and reactions. It continuously receives sensory information and rapidly analyzes this data and then responds accordingly by controlling bodily actions and functions. It took me quite a while to understand what issues in the brain might mean. Dolores had not really encountered anyone with this type of issues so far, but I knew this part of the body had to be addressed. Many people have things that happen in the brain: tumors, aneurysms, blood clots, to name a few. It came to me yesterday as I was doing a meditation, visualizing a column of bright white light coming down through my crown chakra and into my body. When the light came into my third eye chakra, it occurred to me that issues with this part of the body have to do with this chakra. This chakra has to do with your intuition and the development of your higher psychic abilities. We would need to look specifically at what the ailment is to determine the message. Blood clots would represent a blockage within the system and not allowing the flow. An aneurysm or bleed within the brain causes great pressure. Could the message be great pressure around the development of these abilities, or feeling a loss of control? Cancerous tumors represent suppressed anger, so a tumor in this area might mean there is a great deal of anger around the issue of the intuition. That doesn't really make sense to me as I write this, but that is what is coming through right now. Maybe there is a resentment of others and their abilities, or with the self if in not developing or not listening, etc. So they are very stubborn and yeah, and they have anger issues. The brain is seat of the third eye chakra, which houses the pineal gland. This area is doorway or gateway to higher dimensional understanding or psychic abilities. I decided to do some research on the pineal gland since I have a very limited understanding of this. The basic physical information I found is that it is a gland about the size of a pea in the center of the brain and produces melatonin, a hormone that affects the modulation of wake-sleep patterns and seasonal functions. I found a very interesting article by Gary Way on a website named viewzone.com. Here is a brief excerpt explaining why it has its reputation. Although commonly attributed to Descartes.
Descartes. No,
Descartes.
Not
Descartes.
Descartes. Yes,
Descartes.
Oh, Descartes. Oh, Descartes.
Philosopher, math, yes. He's a logical philosopher, yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, he's okay. He's an artist and philosopher. Attributed Descartes.
He is a philosopher who said, I think, therefore I am. Very famous for the statement. I think, therefore I am.
Oh, I think, therefore I am.
That is Descartes.
Yeah. So the idea, according to him, the idea that the pineal gland was the interfacing organ where the spirit of man gained access and animated the human body was the idea of a Greek physician named Herophilus. 300 years before Christ, Herophilus was dissecting corpses and documenting what he observed. His specialities were the reproductive system and the brain. So he was trying to find out what is this organ. Prior to Herophilus, people believed the executive office of human consciousness was the heart. Oh, before him, people thought it was the heart area. Egyptian mummies had their hearts carefully emblemed and preserved.
Not emblemed, embalmed.
Embalmed is they put some kind of
The embalming is putting that chemical to preserve it.
substance to cover, the organ. Yeah, correct. Hearts carefully embalmed and preserved while their brains were removed through their nasal passages and unnecessarily discarded. But Herophilus knew that the brain was the controlling center, and he went on to discriminate between the various parts of the brain and assess the different behaviors associated with them. So they were taking out the brain through their nose. Oh my God, I don't know how they. Herophilus noticed that the small pineal structure was singular, unlike the other brain features that are mirrored in the left and right hemispheres. It is the first gland to be formed in the fetus and is distinguishable at 3 weeks. Oh, interesting.
No,
It is also highly.
And that this is also written even in that correlation between the embryogenesis and chakras.
Oh, okay. So it is first thing it formed at 3 weeks.
Yeah.
It is also highly nourished. The pineal gland has been supplied with the best blood, oxygen, and nutrients.
So
Yeah,
one sec, ma'am. So that's the only reason that you carry cells from your past lives and this present life. That's the reason that
Not cells, patterns.
patterns.
Yeah.
So that's the reason that it has been developed within the 3 weeks of the pregnancy.
Mm.
Okay.
probably, yeah.
That is the host basically, which has the record of all your life till now.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
no, sir. 3 weeks of pregnancy, you don't have fast life.
Sir,
No, 3 weeks of pregnancy, you don't have fast life because
You
the soul
have.
has not entered.
you have.
No, it is only a biological mass until the soul has entered.
The pineal gland has a record. It is a replication of the Akashic record.
But record
Yes.
of soul records because there is no soul there.
See, portions of the soul keeps coming and going. Portions of the soul starts when the conception takes place. Patterns of the soul are anyway there. The complete soul entry and the remaining there without moving out starts after the first year. But till then, the soul keeps visiting, going back, all that keeps happening. That is why in the first 3 months, the mother and the child to be have a number of astral meetings. This is very well highlighted in Soul's Plan and Soul's Gift.
Oh, no,
Sir,
I thought it
kindly
happens
elaborate
after
on
3
this.
months.
Sir, kindly elaborate on this 3 months astral meeting.
That means no, the mother and child, they have meetings in terms of finalizing the contractual obligations.
So it would be before the pregnancy, before the zygote form.
After conception.
Okay.
Okay,
And
that
once
is
there is
where that. See, you please read the article on in that Your Soul's Plan and Your Soul's Gift. Read about reincarnation, the pre-birth plan and all that. He explains all that in that chapter.
Okay. Sir, one more question. So when the females get, miscarriage and also within that 3 months of the pregnancy, if they get the miscarriage, does it mean that the astral travel, the astral meeting was not been confirmed or whatever it was with there?
Exactly. Or that miscarriage also is very well explained in those 2 books.
Yeah.
Read them.
Okay.
Read them.
Okay, sir.
Rather than asking my opinion, you read that, then you come for the discussion.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The pineal gland has been supplied with the best blood, oxygen, and nutrient mix available in the human anatomy, second only to that of our kidneys, whose function is to filter the blood of impurities. Because of this unique and special anatomical configuration, Herophilus rightly concluded it had a major role in consciousness and was gateway to our real self. Later in this same article, by 1958, Aaron Lerner discovered melatonin, a vital molecule produced in the pineal gland from another common neurotransmitter, serotonin. He also validated the fact that the production of melatonin varied, stopping during the daylight and ramping up shortly after darkness. Melatonin, it was learned, was responsible for making us relaxed and putting us to sleep. For a while, it was not known how this small gland buried deep in the middle of human brain could sense light or darkness. But it was later discovered that there was a link to the pineal gland from the retina, which oddly enough also contained melatonin. In no time, the pineal gland was being called the third eye, and because of its location at one of the 7 chakras, it was reputed to be the center of spiritual and psychic energy. In another article, it is stated that an awakened pineal gland brings the ability to consciously astral travel, explore other dimensions, foresee the future, and receive communications from loving dimensional beings. Thus, it would appear human beings were intended to be visionary beings and be able to tap into the information in other dimensions. This dimensional perception transcends the ego and rapidly heals our sufferings, conflicts, and thus karmas. Spinal cord. The spinal cord is the main part.
Right, this information here.
She says this dimensional perception into transcending ego, it rapidly heals our sufferings, conflicts, and karmas.
Correct, because
the
ego is the root cause of all that.
The spinal cord is the main pathway for information connecting the brain and peripheral nervous system. This is the message relay system. All messages being sent back and forth from the brain to the body, they must use this communication system. Doesn't it make sense that doesn't it make sense that anything malfunctioning in this section would have to do with communication and how you send and receive your messages? Yeah. So that means any a blockage or anything, interfering, that makes sense that anything malfunctioning in this section would have to do with the communication and how you send and receive the messages. So I just think that this has to do with how you send and receive messages to yourself. So you can determine the degree the messages are thwarted by what is happening in this spinal cord and nerves. A complete sever that is cut. A complete sever might indicate a complete disconnect with yourself as you deliver the messages. The messages are either not received at all, or they are received in a very distorted fashion. So that means we are not communicating with ourselves properly.
Exactly. Nerves.
Yeah. Nerves. A peripheral nerve, or simply nerve, is an enclosed cable-like bundle of peripheral axons, the long, slender projections of neurons. A nerve provides a common pathway for the electrochemical nerve impulses that are transmitted along each of the axons. The nerves and spinal cord are a giant messaging system as they transmit messages to and from the brain and the body. Nerve system. Diseases of the nerves may many times have to do with too much energy coming into the body. Diseases of the nerves many times have to do with too much energy coming into the body. In regular normal circumstances, the energy comes into your crown chakra in the shape of a funnel. When I have looked energetically at someone who has a nervous system disorder, I have seen the energy coming in like a column that completely surrounds the person. The first time I saw this, I felt an overload of energy. I received intuitively that the person said, when coming into this life, bring it on. Many of us overestimate the ability of the human body to carry the energy. So many of us overestimate the ability of the human body to carry the energy. When we are on the other side and we are our true selves, we are pure energy. We come into these human bodies to hold and carry energy to help others. We have high ambitions of what we wish to accomplish while here and ask for more than we can handle. Since there is the law of non-interference, nothing can be done to us or for us by our guides or higher self unless and until we ask. The result is more energy than the body can handle at this time, and we have short circuits and overloads of the system. Situations in which these types of things were happening were diagnosed as epilepsy and Alzheimer's. Oh, so it is overload of energy, epilepsy and Alzheimer's. Interesting. Another cause we have found for malfunctions with the nerves is that the person was holding on to so much anger that it was eating him up. He had paralyzing symptoms. His body was not receiving the messages. Again, as in the previous paragraph, there is a short circuit of sorts on the message relay system. Again, in the previous paragraph, there is a short circuit of sorts on the message relay system. I found it very interesting that every attempt we made to send this person his recording of the session failed, and we finally had to hand deliver it to him. Again, the messages were not being received.
No, one sec, ma'am, one sec. See, reread this sentence.
I found it very interesting that every attempt we made to send this person his recordings of the session failed, and we finally had to hand deliver it to him. Again, the messages were not being received.
Okay, just hold. Now, if you are a spiritual counselor, here if you are getting that message, apply, no reply.
Yes.
Right? If you take that phenomena, that means either he is not ready to receive it or he is blocked.
He blocked. Yeah.
Can I speak?
Yeah.
Can I speak, sir?
Yes.
No. I am last year June, starting a small burning in my stomach. When I touch the stomach, my stomach inside some lipoma and something. And then surgery, the small surgery, only 3,000 rupees surgery, and I am doing very well and went to job. There is no problem.
Great.
The burn some area. The burn some small burning, small hot water touching the stomach side.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
Right. So basically,
What is it?
that your stomach problem got resolved after that.
Resolved that only burn some hot water. Then I know that there is a small problem inside my stomach. Then consult a surgeon. Surgeon told the next day is also surgery. Surgery is a small surgery. Take a lipoma. The only hot water. That area.
But if you had contacted GK sir before that, that surgery can be avoided.
Okay.
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 Yeah.
Okay.
So how did
I have a
Already?
question here.
Pardon?
In the previous paragraph, we have Alzheimer's is like a disease that can come by having an excessive energy where our
Correct.
body cannot handle. But
Ah.
mostly Alzheimer's, if we really, it comes at later in the age, like, when people
mean,
become
if
elderly,
you're
that's
not,
when
if
they
you're
get this.
not letting that energy flow,
Dissipate.
if you
Flow,
are
yeah.
dissipating that energy, what will happen?
Okay, so
So basically, it is a representation. What they found in that experience is that that circuit was getting overloaded. Overload can either represent Alzheimer's or it can be epilepsy.
but see, if we come into the spiritual path, we say we can ground the energy. But in
Okay.
regular materialistic path, what type of grounding they can do?
No, they cannot do the grounding. That is why they come to the spiritual path. I didn't understand the question.
See, like we know the grounding techniques only after we enter into this path, and but many times,
Many people without knowing, right? They release for example, when a person is extensively stressed, I had a boss who is settled in the Boston area, the Chicago circle, and he used to say, Chandra, I am very stressed today. I have to go for my workout. What are they doing? When they are stressed, there is either excessive energy on them, and that is why they are feeling the stress. So he works out. He goes to the gym and spends a couple of hours and then says, now I am feeling fine. It's a release.
Yes, yeah.
Right? That is what he is doing.
I rather use the word strain rather than stress. I think stress is the wrong word there.
Yeah.
It's strain.
Okay. Correct. I agree.
So different ways of it's not exactly grounding, but ways to
Release.
extend that,
release or re-establish the flow.
by doing some workouts or by relaxation methods.
Correct. It's
Okay.
basically you're releasing the blockage.
Yeah.
See, working in the garden, working in outside the house, they also say release the energy. And also somewhere I read, I think that one of the masters I know, we heard on YouTube, everybody, he said that by moving, like a jerky moving also, people heal the.
It is there in that lecture. That what is his name?
Yeah.
Satya.
The saint. Yeah.
One of the countries, Vietnam or somewhere, they jerk the body so much, they release, it seems, and they heal the diseases, he said.
What is that, Satya.com, or what was that article I had sent? Satya.com.
Yes.
Yeah, he looked like it. Yeah.
He's a Sardarji.
Sardarji, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he mentioned that.
Yeah.
And also nowadays the tapping is also very. He said that removes it, liberate the energy.
The EFT. That is EFT.
Craig.
Yeah.
Steve Craig or Craig something. That was his. That's the name of the person who discovered that.
No, Qigong methods also they do the tapping, man, because they wanted to move the chi energy through.
Yeah.
No, that is acupressure. Correct. See, Qigong, they do, that is acupressure.
Not only that, the movements, body movements.
Sir.
Correct.
Yeah.
So these are all just to release the energy, excess energy in the body.
Yeah.
In different organs. So a very similar thing would be happening in what is diagnosed as multiple sclerosis and muscular dystrophy. The messages are not being received. I am listing some other body parts in this system and what they are indicating with their messages. As in other sections, I will not be able to address all of the different body parts and possible ailments. Remember, the purpose of this book is to get you to understand the process. Once you understand the general messages of that particular area, you will be able to deduce what your subconscious or higher self is attempting to say through your body. Headaches, severe migraine. Most often, headaches are the residues from the way you died in another life. Some type of blow to the head. Look at when the headache started and what was going on at that time. There might be some kind of connection to a similar time period or situation in another life. But one thing I found in one of my cousins' families, most of them in their family, they have migraines. Migraine headaches.
Migraines, there are multiple causes. She is talking about one that she is exposed to.
Yeah.
And anybody who
headaches-
does proper breathing within a matter of a couple of months overcomes migraine as one of the early problems.
Correct. Because that is a restriction of the blood vessels in that area.
Correct.
The flow are not freely flowing. Dementia.
That one Gujarati lady from Pune in our early book clubs, she used to relate to this. So I also forget her name because she has stopped coming to us long ago. She was a teacher.
Oh, yeah. In London, isn't
See,
it?
I see.
No, not
Sangvi,
London.
Mrs. Sangvi.
No, she was in Pune.
Sangvi, sir, na Mrs. Sangvi.
Sangvi, yeah, I think so.
See, I got into meditation mainly because I met Rishi Prabhakar because of migraine.
Okay.
After several neurologists tried to correct me, and they went on giving all kinds of colored medicines which I didn't know, and all kinds of therapies. That's when Rishi Prabhakar, I met him, and he cured me of migraine within a few months. That's how I became an advocate of meditation.
Yes, it's proper breathing and quietening the mind and releasing the stress. Yes, that all will help to widening the blood vessels. Dementia, the gradual leaving of the body's energy. Dementia, which is extreme Alzheimer's, the gradual leaving of the body's energy. The person is wanting to leave, but is doing it gradually to help loved ones adjust to the eventual death. So it is a slow process of death. The person is wanting to leave, but is doing it gradually to help loved ones adjust to the eventual death. There are some situations that have been diagnosed as Alzheimer's, but actually they were just an overload of incoming energy. When instructions were given to turn the energy down, the symptoms were relieved and the body symptoms returned to normal within a 6-month period. This request is done on an etheric level and can be accomplished by visualizing a dial being turned down. Sometimes you can tap into the other person's energy and sense what the energy is doing. Then you are able to feel the energy being lessened as the dial is being turned down.
No, that is
Brain tumor.
that is the way they say, right? You do this, put your hands away and then move one hand, you can feel that energy moving on the other hand. That happens, you can experience it. The same thing,
Yes.
what is, you are doing it at an astral level. When he says etheric level, you are actually disturbing the composition of the etheric body. Like it can disturb each layer in the body also.
So she's saying
yeah.
dial is turning down.
How do you
so
do
that
that? I mean, see, the person with Alzheimer's doesn't have much of an ability to think or focus.
Sir, that is what we think. That is what the doctors are telling us. But in reality, he is See, for example, how do you recognize that from a spiritual standpoint, there is some difference in the energies? You can create that through multiple sources. What she is saying is this request is done on an etheric level and can be accomplished by visualizing. So how can you do it? She is suggesting. Let's not go by what a doctor is saying. Let's go by trying to understand what messages are being given to us from an energy perspective. If we take the approach saying that they don't have the ability, we really don't know. Then if they don't have the ability, there should be no reversals happening, right?
No, my point being that, see, for someone to understand, if you want to teach an Anapanasati to someone should be able to understand that instruction first. And if he does not understand the instruction, then what can you do really?
They can definitely understand. They can understand. You can lead them, but yes, the challenges that we face will be much more. Otherwise, there should be no case of reversal in Alzheimer, right? Once Alzheimer means it's only death, nothing else. Which is not correct.
Yeah.
I think whoever is not they know how to interact with the patient properly. Correct. I think they can probably help them.
Now, I'm sure if we go and sit with some of the people who have had a reversal from Alzheimer's state to now, today, right? Then we will be able to get the answer. That's what I am feeling, the way I am reading this. And what happens is, it's like cancer. I go and tell my doctor, nowadays I'm forgetting things. He says, I think it's early stages of Alzheimer's. That itself will start conditioning my school of thought. Okay, so I will start building that opinion and justifying everything. So I walk into that cocoon. You have cancer. I can give you 6 months. Who is the doctor to give me 6 months? Right. A courageous person will ask that question. Who is he to give me 6 months? Correct. So what is this teaching us? That we need to know our body better than somebody else. And if he says something, I will treat it as a potential. I was told so many things. I was told that I would start losing 10 years ago. By now, I should have lost up to my hips.
Yeah.
Right? So, we should not let that impression that is being conveyed to us. I was told I will never be able to walk out of medication. Right?
Yeah, same R.J. Spina mentioned, and the doctor said you have only a couple of months.
He said 48 hours. R.J. Spina was given 48 hours.
Yeah, with all his issues, health issues.
Yeah.
But in that
paralyzed from the chest downwards. He had type 1 diabetes. He had autoimmune disease. He had so many. Our Bhatia man, 25 years of suffering with autoimmune.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So we should not let the doctor's opinion superimpose our school of thought.
Yes.
The moment we do that, then under the guise of that, whatever, it is like taking a medicine and saying, I'm not going to get cured, I'm not going to get cured, I'm not going to get cured. That medicine also will be ineffective. So what we are going through this book is so that it tells us others, they only know so much. See, for example, when we read the books on in the course of spiritual tablets and that exercise of that publishing the on allergies, right? What did we do? We picked up a book which said spiritual roots of a disease, right? So that boiled down to 3 conditions. All these diseases are part of that only. So the moment we work in the cloud of the definition by a doctor, and that book says people do not know the etiology of a disease. They do not know the source of a disease, but they are diagnosing. So who is deciding whether they know medicine or not? The pharmaceutical industry. I have literally seen, because one of my roommates when I was a bachelor was a medical rep. And the way he would explain to us, we used to talk about our jobs and all that. So he used to say, I go and educate the doctor what to tell. That poor doctor doesn't know which medicine, how it works. Right? So we shouldn't, this one is to educate us, saying that what opinion the doctor is giving may be with an agenda. Our duty is to understand it from ECW, energy, consciousness, and wisdom. So when we do that, probably the definition of that disease will undergo a change, saying that it is basically an imbalance in the energy, which is either in excess or in shortfall. That is the objective behind all this learning. So I agree with you. I'm not saying no. I'm not saying the doctor may be wrong, but he may not be right either. That is one thing as counselors we all should know. Counselors to ourselves. The doctor has told, that means yes, it has now come to me as a challenge. It has come to me as a challenge. I need to take up that challenge and work my way through it. Particularly because Alzheimer's, there is very little known. Would you not agree?
Yes, sir.
Because Alzheimer's, I don't think there is much known about Alzheimer's. There are many diseases that no one in the earlier generations even had or heard about.
Yeah, some kind of protein, it accumulates in the brain.
See, that is again their diagnosis. If we are talking from energy, consciousness,
Yeah.
as spiritual beings, our approach is going to be very different.
That is why you can clear all that accumulation through your energy, through our energy, whatever.
Through our meditation itself. Like G.K.
Yes.
sir was telling in Shadnagar, there is somebody who was down with paralysis, and for 1 month he has been in the pyramid. He has not left. It is 22 days as of yesterday, and that person is now talking about, sir, I've got only 10 or 20%. There is a slight limp left in my walking. Otherwise, I'm almost cured. So that belief is very important. Then we will be able to handle it. So what is Alzheimer's? He says it is dementia, extreme Alzheimer's, the gradual leaving of the body's energies. So if you want to come out of it, you don't let that body energy influence you. That means you influence that body energy. The person is wanting to leave. Look at this. His soul is saying it is time to leave, but is doing it gradually. So he is doing it to a plan. Yeah, but a good question, sir. I agree with your viewpoint. At the same time, our approach needs to be different if we want to come out.
So we can stop here. It's already
Yeah, let's finish this.
11:20.
Let's finish this para.
I mean, we have got just about another 2 paras.
Yeah.
Yeah. Brain tumor, deep-seated anger at oneself. So deep-seated anger at oneself causes brain tumor. Angry thoughts, resentment or anger with one's own growth or the supposed lack of psychic abilities. Dolores is wanting me to say You are not being allowed to develop your abilities. But I have an issue with that word allowed. You may have people or situations in your life that make it difficult for you to do things, but I feel the act of allowing comes from yourself. You may feel you are not being allowed to do something, but in the world of spiritual and psychic development, how can someone keep you from doing things since this is a very personal and from a place that is not physical? I can see that in some countries and cultures, there might be severe ramifications for doing such things, and those can be mitigating circumstances. But for the most part, we are all allowed to do our work in private and can keep it to ourselves if needed. Nervous disorders.
This is precisely what we were talking just now.
So brain tumor, yeah, keeping anger and not doing whatever
No,
they
I'm
want
not
to
talking
do.
about that part. The rest of it, this part. This is what we were talking.
Yeah.
Who is somebody else to influence us?
Yes.
Yeah.
Nervous disorders, stress, worry. These specific disorders arise from the fear of the unknown. You feel that you must know the outcomes of all events. Worry represents the lack of faith or trust in someone or something, most likely in yourself, because it is difficult for you to allow circumstances to unfold in their own fashion, along their own design. An overload of stimuli is put on the mind and body, trying to anticipate or control the outcome. So we expect, we have some expectations or outcomes. So the SC stated that stress can do horrible things to the body, and it is really a way for the body to tell you to listen. When you listen, it gives you all of the information you need. Depression, you're trying to withdraw or escape. Bipolar disorder. This is a more extreme more extreme form of depression. So this is a greater withdrawal or escape.
So basically, when it comes to the nervous disorder, everything is centered around that energy. Energy movement, energy excess, and energy imbalance.
See, this is what when you expect for something, when you don't get it, you feel stressed out.
Correct.
So, like especially most of these people who play games, and all sorts of these people who are competitive players, gymnasts, like all this, they have a lot of stress.
Correct. Yeah. And Ramakrishna sir, your point is highlighted in the last portion of what we were talking about in the nervous disorder. Yeah. He says these specific disorders, they arise.
So that's why she said, no, don't become a victim of the doctor's voice. You have the ability, you realize yourself. She said that.
Correct. And he's also talking, there is the fear of unknown.
Yeah.
Which is ignorance in our parlance. The moment you realize that that fear is because of what you don't know, at least you will try and find out what you need to know. But that's the point you were trying to make earlier. Yeah.
Yeah, see, the stress or worry, it beautifully said, worry represents the lack of faith or trust in someone or something, most likely in yourself.
Correct. Yeah. So far, I think we have covered good grounds. We have got another 30 pages.